Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost for many folks over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know if they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Welcome to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman, with Heischman Financial Services. Thank you for joining me this morning, as a lot of you do each week. Most of the individuals that I meet with each week are approaching retirement, or they're already in retirement. As a result, I hear a lot of questions. I think once people get to that stage of life, they've accumulated money and they've got questions or concerns about having success in retirement. And these themes that I find are somewhat categorized into a handful of groups. And I think this is where you as listeners have a big advantage of having a show done for you by someone that not only works with retirees, but see a lot of similarities. It's definitely a complicated situation. It's like you're on a 40-year train ride heading for a destination called retirement. But when those paychecks keep coming in, your schedule for 45 hours a week is really well defined. You don't have a lot of questions at that time. But when you arrive at your destination, retirement, that door opens and it says destination retirement. You get off that train you've been on, the landscape's really different. And those paychecks, they're not coming in. And all of a sudden, your health care probably went away as well. And at this point, you're starting to live off your nest egg. And all of a sudden, it becomes kind of a complicated financial puzzle. I mean, I've had a lot of people, especially when COVID was in full swing, they said, you know what, I kind of like this staying at home, working from home, and not leaving to have to go to work, fighting the traffic, and continue until going into retirement by taking early retirement. What does that look like? It raised questions there. And now you've got a situation where there are people either getting laid off or they've decided they're not going to go ahead and retire sooner than what they were originally expected. Things have changed. That raises some questions. And one of the biggest questions that I find with people is how much do they need to retire comfortably? And that's really a loaded question because it assumes that some random lump sum of money is going to be the answer. There's internet pop-ups that we see. Can I retire comfortably on $500,000 or $1 million? Yes and no. Some can, some can't. There are so many variables involved, and a cookie cutter figure, so to speak, cannot determine if you can retire on that amount. Because I've seen situations where an individual will look at their portfolio and, they have a lump sum of $500,000 or even $1 million and try to take their statement and pay for groceries at the cash register. And that's not going to buy you much because it needs to be turned into usable, guaranteed income that you can retire on. That's the real question. How much do you need? Again, can be misleading. And when somebody asks that question, one of the questions I typically throw back in return is, what's the purpose of your money? Is it to buy something? Or is it income replacement money? And for the majority of people, at least that I talk to, it's income replacement. And for most, I think that's a common sense reply because you have to replace that paycheck that was there, guaranteed every week or every couple of weeks, however you were paid from your employer. And the whole purpose of that savings is so you can replace the income that's no longer coming in. So it's a big deal when those paychecks happen and everything changes when they don't. And one of the things that really concerns me about the retirement planning industry, it seems like there are a lot of individuals or firms like Wall Street firms that don't understand this, that it's about income. Too much emphasis is placed on growing your money, getting a high rate of return. How many actually talk about guaranteed retirement income that's going to last as long as you do? So I'm offering a complimentary income review. This is where I review your statements, how much guaranteed lifetime income these accounts are going to generate compared to your retirement needs. Where are you at today? And projecting how long your money is going to last throughout retirement. Let's address this first and foremost. Then we'll talk about growing your money, what your options are based on your risk tolerance and your risk capacity. First things first, and I make this offer to those of you that are within a couple of years of retiring or already retired, because believe me, there are so many that are retired, they're not on the right track, and they need this income review. Here's the number that you can reach me, and we can schedule a brief meeting at my office, in the conference room, at your home. It doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you and your time. 888-426-0177. Let me give you that number again. 888-426-0177. I think this will be very helpful to you and help cover questions about a successful retirement. How much money do you need in retirement? How much income do you actually need? Not how much money do you need in a lump sum? Because I think the lump sum concept can be very deceptive. What I've seen is that once an individual begins to really understand how much income they need, then they realize, you know what? They're going to have to make that amount of withdrawal from their portfolio. Then the strategy is, what kind of income can I get from my portfolio? And that begins to change how you invest. You can actually do some pretty good dynamic math that I help you with. We will correlate projected lifetime income by reviewing your projected Social Security income and pension income, if you have a pension. I have met with retirees that their income consists of Social Security and a pension, but more is needed for whatever reason. And I've showed them how to generate that additional amount needed by setting up sources of guaranteed lifetime income in addition to that Social Security and pension check that they get each month. So find out more, take advantage of my offer, because the only thing it's going to cost you is your time. Call me at 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. And don't forget to visit my website, which is HeischmanFS.com. HeischMan, the initial F, then the initial S.com. I'm going to take a break, so stay tuned for the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement show this morning. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement show in a moment.
You have spent your entire working life hoping what you put into your retirement accounts will help you live comfortably once you leave the workforce and go into retirement. The key word in that sentiment, and the word that can make retirement feel like a looming problem instead of a rewarding life stage, is the word hope. You hope that you'll have enough money. Hope has no place in retirement planning. So we want to eliminate the hope and change that to, I know I will have enough money for retirement. The bottom line is you need to be focused with a well-executed plan. Leaving your retirement up to chance is not an option by any standard, but with information, tools, and professional guidance, creating a successful retirement plan will put you in control of your financial management. This is Jon Heischman from the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I can help. If you'd like to schedule a telephone conversation or a face-to-face meeting, call 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. Avoiding mistakes can save owners of IRAs, 401ks, and TSP plans, as well as other retirement plans, a fortune in taxes, penalties, fees, and loads. These potential mistakes are addressed in the free book entitled Top 10 IRA Mistakes. This is Jon Heischman from the Safe Money and Retirement Show, offering a complimentary copy by calling 888-426-0177. Again, that's 888-426-0177.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
This is Jon Heischman, your host for the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement Show this morning. We've been discussing income options. Where is your money going to come from? And, of course, planning for that income. Making sure that you can live and have the lifestyle that you want. And making sure it's not impacted by market values. I think each retiree needs to be excited, have confidence, knowing your income plan has been designed for you, that you can spend money, you have cash flow, and it's important to me to make sure that each retiree knows that their income is coming in regardless of good or bad markets. If you have $1 million set aside for retirement and you take $50,000 out per year, and if it comes out of cash flow, income sources, we want to make sure you don't have to sell shares of stock, whether the market's up or down in value, in order to generate income, knowing that you can spend that money. It's a renewable resource, and over time, you're going to be okay during your retirement. So I want to offer a complimentary 15-minute strategy call. This is a telephone call where we have a casual discussion about your income. Where is it going to come from? And of course, is it going to be guaranteed? I've done this for many radio listeners throughout Ohio. And after our discussion, if you want to schedule a meeting, it's up to you. 888-426-0177. That's the number to call, and we can schedule that phone conference around your schedule. 888-426-0177. I think it's very important to note that not everybody's situation is the same. I have made different recommendations all the time. You don't want to apply some blanket advice and have it be the wrong advice for you. There's no cost. There's no obligation to do anything for this phone consultation. I want to take a moment and discuss the importance of retirement planning, because most people that I talk to have had some type of investment advice, a broker that only handles your investments. So many don't assist in the next step at retirement. In retirement, you still need investment advice, but you also need income planning and the different strategies used to generate that income. And that income needs to be guaranteed. You need to make sure that your investment advisor can help you with retirement income planning. And going one step further, make sure they can provide the protection plans that may be needed in retirement. So what do I mean by protection plans? I think one of the best examples is long-term care or home health care, annuities, and life insurance. These may be plans that you need, and these are plans issued by an insurance company, insured products. Many advisors do not offer insured products for whatever reason. And in my opinion, when it comes to financial planning, retirement income planning, in order to do the complete job and be able to work with you through retirement, they need to provide these products. If not, they may refer you to another advisor or agent that they're associated with. And if that's the case, you're now working with 2 or more advisors during retirement. A big advantage that we have, Heischman Financial Services, as independent advisors, we do it all, continuing to give you investment advice, insured products, if needed, all through retirement. And hopefully you're working with an advisor that does provide the total package, you might say. And if so, and you're happy and have confidence in that advisor, continue to work with that person. Now, if you're not pleased or have confidence, you should get a second opinion, interview different advisors, and find one that you're going to have confidence in. And I think that's more important today than ever because we've become a world of specialization, which isn't a bad thing for many professions, but not necessarily in retirement planning. Some things that need to be taken into consideration is projected life expectancy. Retirees need to think about their health right now and in the future. Longevity is the biggest concern out of all the risk that retirees face. At the top of the list, I have to say longevity is the biggest concern. Also in retirement planning, if there is a spouse, how is your plan going to impact them if you pass away? Will the income for that surviving spouse be sufficient? Or will it continue at the same amount prior to death? What resources are going to be available to generate that additional income shortage if the same amount is to continue? All of these factors that I mentioned are so important, they have to be addressed for the retiree. I mentioned life expectancy and health. How about other assets that you have accumulated over the years? How are they going to play a role in your income planning? And as I mentioned before, no two situations are exactly alike. So that means that it takes some thought, actual planning. I have to ask more questions about an individual situation before I can make a recommendation. And it's interesting because many times it's a fairly simple solution, or it can be a detailed situation where it takes time, a lot of work on my part, but the bottom line, if that's a situation that needs to be done, take the time to think about your situation. Where are you at? Whether you're getting ready to retire or if you've already retired and you're questioning your plan, you're just not sure about the future, I welcome the opportunity to give you a second opinion and my thoughts as to where you are and where you want to go. Take advantage of my offer where we have a 15-minute phone conversation so I can answer your questions, concerns, and address where you're at as far as being prepared. 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. You've taken a half hour out of your morning, so I hope it's been beneficial. Thank you for tuning in to the Safe Money and Retirement Show, and please join me next week at the same time and the same station. I'm your host, Jon Heischman, and thank you again.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.